This is John for the Everyday Fan Sports. I'm here on the beat. I had the pleasure of being with Rabbi Jeremy Fine of 2econd Wrestling. How are you, sir?
Doing okay. A little nicer than it was yesterday, where the Bears report on. I've never seen so much rain at a football game. We were talking about this. Maybe snow when you're in Chicago, but
Yeah.
not that kind of rain. And it definitely played into our favor because they had no chance of coming back because you couldn't throw the ball.
We got the win. That's all that matters. In a season when like 5 or 6 wins are predicted, we'll take anyone we can get.
Totally true. I love this coach, and it seems like Justin Fields loves him, which is what really you need is the manager, the coach, and the quarterback to get along and be on the same page. That seems to be evident, and now let's see what happens. I mean, this is really a rebuilding year in the true sense of how you can ever rebuild in football. They've loaded on draft picks, so this might not be the year, but this is a year to find out who's going to be on the team going forward.
Yeah, as long as we show some positive progression, I'll be happy. I don't expect playoffs, but as long as and yesterday was a nice sign. Fields I like Fields, and I like the new coach. I agree with you. So, hopefully this will be an exciting season. Hopefully it'll continue like that.
Absolutely.
Let's switch gears a little bit. Let's talk a little wrestling. You started 2econd Wrestling. How and why did you start it?
Let's do the why. The why was I was in Minnesota, and I had become a part of First Wrestling, which is a promotion. They just did a show in the Mall of America, which was unbelievable. It was on Fight TV. And I had sort of at the synagogue, long story short, is that we started doing shows, hosting shows of First Wrestling at the synagogue. And so I played a role, and my role expanded from just sort of like venue and thinking a little bit with Eric Cannon to we did about 6 shows during COVID that were we were the only ones doing this, I think, in a very safe way. The talent was overwhelmingly, I mean, some of them were in tears, basically, when we were putting these shows on, because they weren't able to wrestle. And we had figured either they turned down wrestling because it wasn't safe, or they couldn't wrestle. And we had figured out how to do it safely. And Eric Cannon and I spent a lot of time and a lot of hours trying to figure out how to do this in a respectful way, in a safe way. And long short of it, because of that, I became more involved. Because that was the only venue First Wrestling was playing during COVID. For a whole year, we were their only venue, and therefore my role expanded. And when I knew I was leaving Minnesota to come to Chicago, I didn't really want to lose not just the excitement, but the storytelling, the relationships, all the things that are great about wrestling, and when it's done well. And so I brought that with me. And so 2econd Wrestling is an ode to the Second City, but it's also an ode to First Wrestling, because that's where we learned. A lot of that has to do with Eric Cannon. It has to do with his crew. It also has to do with Colt Cabana, who's from Deerfield, where I'm from. So lots of people were involved in sort of the inspiration behind what we do. How? I opened a bank account and an LLC and got working. It's running wrestling promotion is really the most fascinating thing. There's such highs and such lows, and I don't just mean in a show, which there are highs and lows.
Right.
We can go down the road with a sponsor who we think will change the face of our company. They'll want to sponsor the show, and then last second they decide not to, and you've already booked people. Same thing with venues. We've already placed. We're about to announce a venue. They decide the last second to change. So there's lots of things that go on, and it's a great opportunity for me to learn about business, about human nature, about people, about what's going around me, and get out of sort of my comfort zone, which is being a rabbi, working with Jews, and that I'm very familiar with. So this is a great opportunity for me to sort of see the larger Chicago community and just get to know people.
Now you had for your first title, your main title. I thought it was interesting. You had a tournament and you had Billie Starkz in it. And I love Billie Starkz. I think Billie Starkz is one of the up and coming. She's gonna be in the big leagues very soon. But I thought that was an interesting choice to have her in the tournament along with men. What went into that choice?
So first of all, she wasn't the only female in the tournament. Also, Blair Onyx was in the tournament. Um, what went into having? Well, we knew that to start we were going to have one belt, although I don't think we're going to stay at one belt. Um, and so because we only had one belt, we wanted that to be equal and fair. And the only way to make that equal and fair is that men and women could compete for it. Her and Blair Onyx weren't the only females we considered, but we did a show we did a battle royal up in Minnesota for one of our spots that happened to be won by a man. And the other side, we knew the bracket. We really wanted to have some prestige. We wanted this tournament to mean something. So we had Matt Raywald and Dak Draper and Eric Cannon and Warhorse, like Dan the Dad. We had names that are sort of known. And so having Billie in the tournament and Blair was the idea that this belt is open to anyone and we want the best wrestlers to compete for it. And, I also have two daughters. I want them to see that they can be empowered. And I don't think there's anyone who embodies that spirit or second wrestling better than Billie Starkz. So, and Blair Onyx. I mean, Blair is also, I can't say enough about her. She's been injured, so she wasn't on our last show, but I imagine you'll see Blair Onyx back at Second Wrestling very soon.
Well, I gotta say, Billie Starkz. Obviously, I love her talent. I love her in the ring. She looks like she's having more fun in that ring than pretty much anybody I've ever seen. While she's giving and taking a beating, her match with Chelsea Green was one of the best matches I've ever seen. I thought it was phenomenal. You've picked some interesting places to have your cards. You had it at a rec center up in Highwood, I believe it was, or somewhere in that area. Then you had it at like a brewery type place. Your next one is going to be Dirty Nelly's. What goes into you picking a place like that? Because those are a little off, a little off the beaten of a regular place.
Yeah, well, we would love to play cool, interesting venues. I think we want to take it to places that people don't get. I mean, the truth with venues right now, I think this is a post-COVID thing, is we also want it to be available. So, we are open to really working anywhere as long as the ceilings are high enough, and we can sell enough tickets. We're also just getting started, and I know we've been around for almost a year now, which maybe we've moved a little faster than we thought we would, and maybe certainly some of our fans have thought we should. That's a testament to the great talent that we've brought in. But venue for us is really tricky. The venues, we don't believe we could pull off a Logan Square auditorium right now. It's not our market. Everyone's playing there. We'd be competing with all the great companies that already exist in Chicago. So we want to be a little different. Listen, I'll be honest, there are venues we want to play that just flat out say no. They don't even take our calls. And then you want to find the right partners. The JCC has been great. Kingston Convicts was, Kingston Convicts was such a fun. They were great hosts, but it's a little tricky. They're corporately owned, and their corporate is not in Chicago. So, like marketing wise, they have to deal with lots of different places. And as you were there, it doesn't hold that many people. So you really have to sell every ticket, which we almost did, and you have to find sponsors. And then you have to be creative in other ways to either make money or say, we're going to use this space for something else or figure out deals. So it's tricky. We want to be places like, I think the venue being unique is kind of cool to us. And when we were at the JCC, we played their gym and we played their event space to see what, to give a different vibe, to see what fans liked better. And we're super excited. Obviously, Dirty Nelly's is the biggest venue we've played in terms of what they do there. They have a concert Friday night and Saturday, so they're a packed place. we're really excited. We hope fans come out and buy tickets. We've also tried to make the tickets affordable for fans. We're not charging 60, 70, $80 a ticket. We're charging, you can get in at $20 or $30 and have a great night of entertainment.
And I already have my tickets. I as soon as they went on sale, we bought them the first day just because we love the product.
Thank you.
And I was happy to see one of my favorites. I've never seen her wrestle in person. Charlie Cruel is going to be on your card at Dirty Nelly's. I noticed that you're not necessarily taking a lot of talent from Chicago. You're bringing talent in from places. I know at the show in Kings of Convicts, you brought a couple of ladies from Texas. And that was a fantastic match, the four-way. Are you intentionally, not that there's anything wrong with it, are you intentionally not using a lot of talent in Chicago and kind of picking around the country?
So we are intentionally trying to give fans something that they're not already getting. Meaning there's great talent in Chicago, and we have used a lot of them. We've seen Blair Onyx in Chicago, Laney Luck is in Chicago, Pick and Pop are in Chicago, Matt Nix. So those are staples of Chicago. But we've had Davey Bang and August Matthews, we've had Alfonso Gonzalez. We've had a lot of people. But if we just ran the same cards that Freelance and Zello and are using, why would anyone come to our show? They just saw it, and they're great. In fact, it would be certainly more cost effective to have their roster. But we want to make a concentrated effort to expand mostly the Midwest. The Texas was a unique situation where we worked with Corey O'Neill, who happened to be nearby for our first show. And then when we're down Mania week, we sort of worked something out where we could have a carload of people from Texas. So that worked out really nicely. But we also, we want to highlight other people. We want every show to feel a little different, but also have our core nucleus. A lot of our core nucleus is in Minnesota because that's where I'm from. So you've seen, unfortunately, Darren Corbin, but you've seen Eric Cannon, even John Maddening, who is one of our announcers. So we also use Val Capone, who's also great. We've used Super Atomic Flinter Frog and Riley Jackson. And there's others. Jossie will be on the next show. We've tried to book others. We'd love to bring Devon Monroe to 2econd Wrestling. We've also did a show in Wisconsin that was not open to the public, but it was a private event. But we had Heavy Metal Lore and we had Country Air who are in Wisconsin. So we had a mix of people in the Midwest, and a lot of them from Minnesota when we're up in the Northeast. Northwoods, excuse me.
Now, as I said, your next show is going to be a deep cut, I should say. It's at Dirty Nelly's, October 27th. You've already announced, as I mentioned, Charlie Cruel. Obviously, Billie Starkz is going to be defending her title. Have you announced who she's defending against?
We have not. I think we just made the decision yesterday.
Okay.
I don't know that we will announce it. We may. We are still working on the card. Because we're new, we sort of announce our shows a little early. We do that so that our venue shows that we want to put a lot of time and effort into them. But that also means that we're first to the iron, right? When the iron's hot and we're pumping these out, which also means that we don't have as much time to see who's around. Right. So what are the other shows running necessarily that weekend? Not necessarily in Chicago per se, but like Milwaukee or St. Louis or Kansas City, where someone could get in a car with a group and drive and hit multiple cities. So we have a tentative plan for the whole card, but we haven't filled it fully. I'm not going to announce it now because we're not going to announce it too close to the show.
Understood.
But we just have a former WWE name that just signed on. We're very excited about this individual who has not been to 2econd Wrestling yet, and fans probably have not seen Chicago in quite a long time. So we're excited about that. And I think you'll see something happen that sets up for our 1-year anniversary show, which hopefully will be in December, that happens at Deep Cut. So the match that you see at Deep Cut for the main event will likely have ramifications of what happens at our December show, which we have not announced yet. We hope to do that soon.
Any idea where the December show is going to be, or it's not announced yet?
No, we're speaking with a few venues. We're open. We have what we believe is an awesome show to present with a really great idea. I think it's my best idea yet, but it has to be the right venue. So we've spoken to 2 this week, and we'll also want to see like what the sell-through rate at Dirty Nelly's is, because they seem like a really great partner for us. Palatine's a little far from my house, but not like insanely far. So
hey, for good wrestling like that, it's worth the drive. Yeah, I can honestly say, I've been to, I don't know if I've been to 2 or 3 of your shows at least, but I've yet to see a bad match. I've yet to see a match that I didn't consider like top notch. And I'm not just saying this because I'm talking to you. My friend Tony and I say this all the time. Your shows were stacked top to bottom. There was no weakness.
Thank you.
And all the wrestlers, before the show, after the show, intermissions, whichever, all very, very fan friendly. Even the bad guys are out there, taking pictures with people. So I don't see a weakness on the card, and I hope it continues. I trust it will continue. Would you like to tell everybody where they can find out more information about 2econd Wrestling?
Yeah, everything's on at 2econd Wrestling. 2econd is spelled with a 2 instead of an S. That's the ode to First Wrestling. So that's on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. We are thinking of building a website where wrestling really exists so much on Twitter and Instagram that it's only like for the companies that are, or the venues who want to see what we're doing. Our YouTube page gives you a good flavor. We're very meticulous about bringing in good people, and when we bring in people we don't know, we are asking someone else to vouch for them. And so I'm going to put him over because Dak Draper, is such an amazing talent, but like a locker room guy that people can go to. Eric Hanna, a locker room guy. We want people who allow for other younger talent to blossom. So you'll see like some people soon, if they haven't already appeared on our shows, who maybe don't have the spotlight on them in Chicago, and that's who we're trying to build as our Chicago roster, not those who have a home base already, because again, then we'd be putting out the same product. Not that we won't use them, but they won't necessarily be our go-to all the time. And so, yeah, that's where you can find us. And thank you about the managers. We spend a lot of time making sure that who's in the ring together makes sense, and it's something the fans can understand, and not just throwing 2 people who have great looks out there just to have great looks.
Well, Rabbi, I really appreciate your time. I encourage everyone to check out 2econd Wrestling. Again, you've mentioned some other wrestling companies, and there are great wrestling companies in the area. But for you guys heading into your first year, finishing your first year, I should say, you've really done a fantastic job. And I look forward to Dirty Nelly's October 27th, and I look forward to the anniversary and your future. I think you guys are off to a great start, and I appreciate your time.
Thank you, John. All the best.
Thank you, sir. Have a good day.